Hey everyone, welcome to the behind the scenes for Minecraft Herobrine Origins. We're going to be talking about the entire process of making this film from start to finish. We're going to talk about the writing, the props, the visual effects, and kind of just everything in between.
There's going to be some spoilers ahead, so make sure you go watch the video if you haven't already. And there's a lot to cover here, so let's get to it.
The year was 2013. We were 16 years old, and we came out with a little video called Minecraft Herobrine Lives. And it was our attempt at a live-action, in real-life Minecraft short film. And despite the really low production value, it was our first video to go viral. And as a small YouTube channel, this really surprised us in a really great way and kicked off our channel in a lot of ways.
So naturally, the next year we came out with a sequel titled Minecraft: The Hunt for Herobrine. This video allowed us to introduce some new characters and some new themes and up the production value from the first one as much as we could. So because of the success and the significance of both of these videos, we thought a great way to finish it off would be to tell a story that acted as a prequel, a sequel, and a finale all in one.
Minecraft, as a sandbox game, actually has a surprising amount of lore and mythology, and we found there were quite a few opportunities to kind of connect some of the dots. And one of the ways we did that was by tying Herobrine's origin story to the recording of Disc 11. Disc 11 is one of the 13 in-game music discs that can be played on a jukebox, but Disc 11 is a little bit different from the rest. It's shattered, and it seems to chronicle some sort of unsettling encounter. And so what we did was suggest that Herobrine is actually the one heard in the recording, and that the recording tells the story of a miner who was stalked and eventually possessed by an Enderman.
So this was our own interpretation of Disc 11, and we thought it was really fun and would be really cool to give it some new meaning and add to the greater Minecraft lore.
Hi, my name is Garrett. I play Steve in Minecraft Herobrine Origins, and I played Steve in Minecraft Herobrine Lives. Talking about the first one, it was basically Joel just sitting me down, not worrying about lighting or anything like that. Just like sit me down, say, hey, here's some lines, say something like this, action. I say some things, all right, looks good, moving on. But now it's a lot more technical and a lot more precise, and there's a script. Like the imagination and the scale of things have gotten so much bigger. In the first one, it was just, I'm gonna push you over and you're gonna fall backwards and I'm gonna get on top of you and start hitting you. In this one, it's push you over, start hitting you, pull back, we're in a different location, punch, pull back, different location. So there's a huge progression there. I think my favorite scene filming was when we were in the final location, that house, and I got all the bloody makeup on and whatnot, and it actually looked like someone had beat me up. Like I was looking in pretty rough shape, and you can kind of see it in the video at the very end. If you zoom in on my face, you can see I have a bit of blood on my lip, and kind of looks like I have a black eye and stuff. And so that was a wholly unique experience to me, was putting on makeup to look like I was like bloodied and damaged and stuff. I think it ends in a very interesting way, and a way that I think is a lot more fascinating than just a typical, he defeated the monster and lived happily ever after. I think the way that you guys, wrote this and took it is a lot more of an interesting direction and leaves a bit more of a lasting impact on you. I imagine the horror and realization that he is permanently trapped in a video game world would dawn upon him, I think that's how it ends, is it does dawn on him, that now it's time to try and etch out a life within the Minecraft world, and if I can, find a way out. But probably not. So what goes on after everything fades to black? Probably just him punching trees and mining and building a house and whatnot. Typical Minecraft stuff.
Nasty. One of our goals with this video was to showcase all of Minecraft's many different biomes, and we're fortunate enough to live somewhere as geographically diverse as Saskatchewan and right next door to the Rockies to be able to pull it off. The desert was shot in the Great Sandhills of Saskatchewan with a little help of some CG cacti. The Snowy Taiga was filmed up in Elk Ridge, which is kind of just at the start of the Boreal Forest in Saskatchewan. The plains, we could have really shot anywhere, but we settled on Wascana Trails, just outside of Regina. The Badlands were filmed down in Castle Butte, kind of near the US border. And of course, the mushroom biome was shot in the Great Mushroom Flats of Saskatchewan, just south of Regina.
So the mountain scenes were shot in Alberta in the Canadian Rockies on Mount Bourgeot. And needless to say, these are the two hardest shots that me and Joel have ever gotten for a video. The hike was 25 kilometers and the elevation gain was 6,300 feet. So it took us about 15 hours just to get up and down the mountain. And the 20 plus pounds of camera equipment and gear and supplies definitely weighed us down a lot. But having said that, it was an amazing experience. The view at the top was beautiful. And it was pretty neat to be able to say that we climbed a mountain during a video. Nearby Mount Bourgeot was where we shot the interior cave scenes and the stuff at the cave entrance. And this was done at an abandoned Cold War bunker called the Vault. This is a challenging location for a couple of reasons. The first one was that it was very dark. It was pitch black in there, so lighting was a challenge. We were in there for 2 days and it was very cold, so that made production hard. And it was also about 2 or 3 kilometers up of another mountain. And coming off of our Mount Bourgeot hike made that pretty challenging to carry up gear and get everything to the location. All of the in real life scenes in this video were shot using a DIY helmet rig that allowed us to get the first person perspective you see in Minecraft. One of the challenges of shooting this way is that when you're shooting so wide, everything is in frame, and that gives us limited control over lighting. It makes us a lot more prone to continuity errors and having things show up in frame that shouldn't be there. But on the other hand, it allows for quicker shooting. We didn't have as much gear to carry around, and we could easily swap and just put on the helmet rig and take it off when needed.
To get the first person view for the first 2 videos, all we did was mount a GoPro to a snowboarding helmet, and that actually worked pretty good. But we wanted to up the image quality, and we wanted a camera system that was a bit more professional. To do this, I bought a snowmobiling helmet off of Kijiji for like 25 bucks, took off the visor, drilled a few holes for mounting brackets and a counterweight at the back, and using the brackets and a few screws, we were able to mount a mirrorless camera right onto it. Probably the biggest problem with it is that the camera was positioned right in front of where you look out of in the helmet. So you could see, but your vision was very hindered.
What? Ow!
The camera we used for this video was the Panasonic GH5S, and it was perfect because it was lightweight, has a great battery life, shoots in 4K, and allows us to shoot with 10-bit color.
Which was really great in helping us manipulate some of the colors and helping us match some of the colors to a lot of the biomes that we were trying to recreate. And perhaps the most visually characteristic part of all of this was the lens we shot on. which was the Venus Optics 7.5mm lens. This lens was great for what we were trying to do. It's small, it's light, it's sharp as a tack, it lets in a ton of light at f2, and its field of view actually matches that of a GoPro. So it was nice being able to match the wideness of the other two videos. The biggest difference though is that it has a rectilinear design, which means that all of the fisheye distortion that you see from a GoPro isn't there. All of your lines in your scene are perfectly straight, even with how wide of a lens it is. Ultimately, it really just made for an image that was a bit more professional.
So obviously, items play a huge role in Minecraft gameplay. So for that reason, this is by far the most production design and prop work that Joel and I have ever done for any of our videos.
A lot of the props or items were handmade or at least modified in some sort of way. So the torches, for example, were cut and carved from scratch. The anvil and sword were cleaned and painted. And then a lot of the other props were bought or borrowed. So things like the crafting table or the pickaxe. But arguably one of the most important props to the story was Herobrine's journal. We wanted it to look as accurate to the in-game item texture as possible, so we bought a leather journal online as a base, and then had the front cover laser engraved with the glyph inscription that you see. The last step in making this journal seem authentic was to weather it. So with a combination of sandpaper, dirt, and just beating it up, we were able to make it look like it wasn't totally brand new and add some life and history to it.
The entries and sketches you see in Herobrine's journal were done by our friend Cyril Chen, who we worked with on our last film, Pokemon Call to Adventure. These sketches tell the story of Herobrine's descent into madness as he's being stalked by an Enderman.
And all of these entries are done in the standard galactic alphabet, which is like Minecraft's mythical ancient text. But these entries actually do translate to real entries. So if you guys do want to take a crack at decoding them, it isn't just random gibberish.
Another big thanks to Cyril for all of his work on this. You can check out more of his awesome design work in the description below.
A lot of what we did to bring the game to life meant visual effects, and lots of them. One of my personal favorites was the enchanting of Steve's sword. The first step in achieving this effect was being able to seamlessly remove the book as it struck.
Go for it, swing.
To do this, all we did was a very simple hit and cut where we quickly swapped out the book. Then we took that shot and did a 3D camera track inside of After Effects. That then allowed us to track in the glyph particles you see explode out of the book. To simulate these particles, we used a plugin for After Effects called Trapcode Particular, and then switched out the particles to the glyph characters. From there, it's just a matter of adding some glow, adding in a little bit of motion blur and heat distortion, and then adding the enchantment effect to the book and sword themselves. To get that effect, we used a water caustic texture, shifted the colors a bit, and then used that as an overlay using a soft blending mode. Then Luke grinded for an entire month, rotoscoping and motion tracking the sword and book so that the overlay actually sticks to these objects. Finally, bring the hotbar and crosshair back in, and that's it. You now have a diamond sword enchanted with Herobrine's journal.
The 3D visual effects you see in this video were done to help bring some of the more fantasy-inspired elements of Minecraft to life. To pull these off, we worked with Giuseppe Morabito, who is a 3D visual effects artist based out of Italy, and he actually worked with us on our last film. He designed all of the 3D Pokemon creatures that you see in Call to Adventure.
Hi everyone, my name is Giuseppe Morabito, and I was the 3D visual effects artist on Herobrine Origins. I mainly use Blender as a 3D package, and I use it for everything that goes from shading to rigging, animation, camera tracking, and rendering. Then I use ZBrush as a sculpting package. Then I use Substance Painter for texturing, and I do compositing in DaVinci Resolve. It's basically split in two parts because we have the character work and then we have the environment work, which was more camera tracking and adding static objects to the environment. The character work for us was the Enderman, basically. And when you look at the game, the first thing that strikes you about the Enderman is how tall he is. And that's basically his defining feature. So first thing I did is I took like a regular human skeleton and just like stretched it out and distorted it into something that was, you know, just a little bit more jarring. The rest of the skin just is kind of like a human skin with a zombified look, a lot of cracks, a lot of even photographic detail, and especially the arms. If you see the back of the arms, he's like really scaly. And as far as lighting, there was a really cool thing, which was the torch that he holds. And that really helps to ground him into the shot, because when he throws the torch, then you can kind of hand animate a point light so that it basically grounds him in the shot, because you know exactly where that torch is related to him, and it actually lights him up. And then when it's on the ground, it still lights him up from the bottom, which is like that classic movie creepy look. And I think that worked out like beautifully.
It was really great working with Giuseppe again. He's an incredible artist, so if you guys want to see more high-end live-action VFX, definitely head over to his YouTube channel, Aran Graphics. Also, another big thank you and shout out to our friend Quinn for the awesome artwork he did for this project. We think it turned out really great, and it'll be an awesome addition to the film as a whole.
That's about it.
Bye.
We hope that this video was an insightful look into how we made Herobrine Origins and our thought process going into it. And above all else, we hope that you guys found it was a worthwhile conclusion to the series as a whole.
And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos, or stay connected with us to see what we're up to on social media.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.